1, 2, 3, 4.
GM, guys, what's up? This is Karen, and you got me this week because Casey is traveling again. But don't worry, he's our correspondent. Like, there's some news on Digital Art Fair, which we're gonna go over first before we jumped into meme farming, where Ray will join us in a bit. So I just want to welcome Casey to the stage. This is like a pre-recorded session, but I think like it's a really interesting piece about Digital Art Fair. So before we wait for Ray, that's what we're going to do. So let's do that.
It's great that you're back in the studio. I'm on the mobile studio, and I'm very excited to introduce our next guest. The 2023 Asia edition of the Digital Art Fair will be held in Hong Kong from 19th to 23rd of this month. That's this week. That's today, actually, starting today. The Hong Kong Grown Digital Art Fair focuses on NFTs and digital art, and has become a cultural destination for art and technology enthusiasts to collect digital fine art, digital assets, and to celebrate art, culture, and creativity, something Hong Kong's not normally used to known for, but this is a very exciting experience. So I'd like to welcome onto the GM show, Jillian Howard, founder of Digital Art Fair.
Hi, Casey.
Hey, Jillian, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are yourself?
Good. I'm so excited to have you here. I am very excited for the Digital Art Fair, but maybe you can explain a little bit about what exactly is your vision for the Digital Art Fair in Hong Kong.
Sure. So this is actually going to be our third year running it, and I guess internationally, because the last 2 years, not a lot of people have been to Hong Kong due to pandemic. So this year we are actually having the fair at K11 Museum on the sixth floor, and we work with we're showcasing about 400 pieces of digital art, which is quite a lot, from some of the most well-known names, from Tyler Hobbs to Rafik Anadol to Yoga Labs, and to any other more traditional artists that make digital art. One of our signature is an immersive room. So immersive room is what we did every year. Last year we did an immersive room with a Chinese artist named Jackie Tsai. The first year we did a first ever Rafik Anadol immersive room. So this year we're actually going to work with an artist called David Gabriel. We collaborate with Maker Place from the US to install the immersive room. It is something that we love to talk about a lot, because the immersive room is using the screens and technology to make an audience looks like they're inside the artwork. So kind of we think that that's like one of the reasons that Digital Art Fair started, was because we wanted to use technology to play with it, to enjoy creativity and art. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Those are very exciting and very good for selfies and stuff. Like, people love that kind of stuff. Why are you doing so? It's digital art is becoming really big around the world, and I know that Hong Kong is now one of the top 3 cities in the world for art in general. But why did you specifically choose Hong Kong to do the digital art fair, not like Tokyo or Singapore?
So Hong Kong. I'm from Hong Kong, so that's number one the clue. And also Hong Kong has been actually the most, I think, the number one city for art in Asia. So we have a history of art collecting, for antiques, for design, for anything from, like, obviously, because where it is where the money comes from, the people who have money to spend, or spare money to spare on the finer things such as art or culture. So we do have a really big community, international community in Hong Kong. Either they are local Hong Kong Chinese, or they're expat that moved to Hong Kong to do business, or they're in finance. This group of people are very, maybe it's because of the international background, they're very cultural. They care about it and they enjoyed it. And of course, we wanted to be a little bit more. It's not as tech based as the US. Hong Kong is not as we don't have the Google. We do have the Google here, but we don't have like a big tech startup here, as far as I know. But we're working on that in Hong Kong. So, but we do have a big group of people that enjoys art and also understand technology.
Yeah, we have the Art Basel show coming in a couple of weeks, right? That brings a lot of people from international art background to that. Is there a reason why you do the digital art fair before Art Basel? Is it just too much competition or too many things happening at that week? You don't want to do it that week?
In March is usually Art Basel time, but it's also because like the city, when we started in 2021, it was kind of like, we weren't really planning too much on like, working against or competing with Art Basel. We really thought just, we want to talk about digital art, we don't talk about NFT, bring the community together. It was not really particularly planned, and it was started in October. We kind of kept the date around October, November. But in the next year, we do think about maybe we should move it to March, so people come to Hong Kong to see Art Basel, can also see digital art. Yeah, that's a good suggestion.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, I forgot. No, sorry. What am I talking about? I thought in 2 weeks it's not March. It's 2 weeks is the FinTech week, and we're doing a lot of NFT events with Meme Land and GM Show. Sorry, you're right. Our battle's in March, not in October. Yeah, it's interesting, but it's great though because a lot of people are coming into town for Web3 stuff that's happening in Hong Kong in a couple of weeks. So it's interesting that that your fair is happening, then ETH Hong Kong is happening, I think next week, and then the week after that, there's all this other stuff. So it's a lot of stuff happening in Hong Kong at the same time. I wanted to ask you a little bit, so on our show, we've interviewed some people talking about how big art NFTs are in the US, actually exploding right now, actually doing better than normal NFT, like PFP stuff, like Bored Apes and things like that. Can you tell me a little bit about how you think artists around Asia are embracing this kind of digital art medium, and then how are buyers reacting? Are they also a lot of Asian buyers buying Asian art, or is it from the States, or where do you think the artists are coming from, and then where are the buyers coming from?
I think I used to be in contemporary art, so I actually been in the fine art industry for 10 years before I moved into digital art, and throughout the I mean collector's habit or history of art collecting, it is a lot of it doesn't really matter too much of where the artists come from. It does in a way that, because I think it is something that I observe, and maybe a lot of other people would find out will explain to you, is a lot of the time people from the West likes to collect East, and people in the East likes to collect the West. It's kind of like is a cultural exchange. It's kind of like the thing that like how information flow,
Right.
and philosophy, etc. So like in China, obviously we have a lot of like calligraphy art before, or sculpture, or wooden crafting, and these are the things that expat or Western collectors are really interested in. But the other way around, like we as Eastern born Chinese, or we're Asian, and we do find that fascinating when we look at the Western painting or Western art. So I think when it comes to digital art, I see there's a little bit of a difference when like, for example, like how fast the digital art is developed in the West, and Hong Kong and Asia. We do have a group of artists here, but it's not as fast as the West. And the reason of that is because first is how trends move around the world, right? Like the digital NFT tech are much more advanced in the US compared to Hong Kong or Asia or Singapore, Dubai. And the adoption rate for people as well. So somehow I would say that US actually have definitely correct, in case I agree with you, that US have a bigger collectors market at the moment. And because a lot of the startup comes from the States. And Hong Kong, especially, I think is a little bit slower in adapting, but we are catching up right now. And for my last 2 years experience working with local Asian collectors, they are very much into, I would say definitely less into profile picture, as you said as well, because I think the history, maybe the history of the art appreciation here is more into, like the very fine, slow calligraphy, paintings, crafting. Like we appreciate things that it takes a long time to make, and that is something that about Asian culture that kind of like imprint in us. And either we listen to music, like there's a lot of that culture in there, and I start seeing that kind of move into the digital art scene as well. So of course at first there were the profile picture hypes going on, and there were a younger group of art collectors really into that. But now they're kind of moving into more, you say, fine artists, a little bit more, maybe a little bit more tasteful, but still, how to say, like integrated with technology. So it got to be something that is not just tasteful, not just beautiful, but also advanced in, like, even you making AI artwork, it got to be beautiful and meaningful. So that's how I see in the market moving. And last, you asked how about the Asian buyers. I think Asian buyers, besides the younger generation of art collectors, there are a group of very savvy investor or art investment fund, etc. They are looking into collecting digital art because they now starting to believe, hey, this is the future. I should start looking at it. So that's exciting.
That's amazing. And then, so so this is your third year. Everything's back to normal, right? The first 2 years you've had some, we've all had the pandemic and things like that. So this year is fully on. Where do you see this? Where do you see digital art and the digital art fair going in the next, say, 3 years?
Yeah. So I think after the last 2 years being, completely locked down in Hong Kong, no one's been everywhere. This year is the first year we actually were able to welcome international travelers. And so that means that we are allowed to kind of, get out and do something else. I think I've been traveling for the last 6 months, finally, after 3 years stop. And the next 3 years, we are planning to expand to other Asian major city. So currently we're looking at a few places and, talking to a few important people. So we'll see, but we hope to expand it outside of Hong Kong and to basically get more people involved in the project, more artists, and promoting the artists that is creating things, creating beautiful artwork, and talk about why digital art and why Web3, crypto, etc. is important. Yeah. Oh, I lost you, I think, maybe.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. So the Digital Art Fair starts today in Hong Kong and runs for the weekend. How can people get tickets if they're looking to join the event?
So you can get a ticket on our website, on our official website, and we got some discount code flowing around for the GM show as well. If GM show wants to share it, and it's going to be K11 this year, so it's going to be fun. We have we will be able to show you what are different types of digital art, from AI to generative to immersive. It's going to be a really good group of artists showing as well. So we look forward to see you guys there.
Awesome. Thank you, Jillian. And we'll see you later today at the Digital Art Fair.
Thank you, Casey. Thank you.
Thank you, Casey and Jillian, for sharing about Digital Art Fair. So Memeland posted, Busy October starts today, just like a couple of days ago. And we want to dig into that, and like we want to know more about what's going on. So I want to like invite Ray on the stage, because in the upcoming 2 to 3 weeks there are 3 things that we're going to do. We're doing farming, we're doing community pre-sale, and we're launching memes. So I want to invite Ray to the stage and to talk a little bit more. And I think like 600 people signed up for this show today just to hear what's going on. So hey Ray, what's up?
Hey, GM.
So,
Yep.
well, people love free shit, right? So that's why we need the farm. So can you explain a little bit more like what's going on in the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, before talking about meme farming, right? I think it feels so funny to, after talking about digital art fair, right, and then talk about shitcoin, meme farming and stuff like that. Right? But I'm actually going to the digital art fair tonight. Right, they have a dinner and stuff, right, and then just to improve my cultural level. Yeah, or about art, learn more about art and stuff.
Cultural man of yourself.
Yeah, culture. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, to immerse in the culture. Yeah, and also share about meme land and stuff. Yeah, to tell them that okay, this is also art. Yeah, but anyway, yeah. Jokes aside, I think we mentioned that okay, busy October, and then we finally getting busy, right? Because I see that a lot of our community members they can't wait, right, to have the meme coin launch and then to participate in our ecosystem, right? So we finally started to do the quote unquote marketing, right? And we call it farming because at the end of the day we want to make it a fun experience, right? Meme is by definition it should be funny, it should be meaningful, right? And that's why we try to use it as a way to raise the awareness, right, of meme coin, right? Not because we think that okay we need to let me put it this way, right? I think it's always good to get more people to know about your product, right? Given whether it's useful or useless, right? Yeah. Then and I think in the crypto space, I think a lot of people they are very used to okay, let's some projects they just pay some influencer, right, to talk about a token, right, and then to give you alpha and stuff like that. I think for
why
us
are we not
because,
using influencers?
yeah, I wouldn't say we are not using, right? I just feel like everyone is an influencer, right? I think everyone can influence, right, the people around them, right? That's why if we believe that this is a fun thing for everyone, why not we just let everyone participate? Right? And I think on one hand, we want to, I would say, leverage our existing community, right, to start, right? That's why we have a program for our existing holder, right? And then we also want anyone who is not yet in the Memeland NFT ecosystem, right, to also join. Right? I know that despite the down bad NFT market, right? NFT, as what most people think about, is still very expensive, right? Even our cheapest like collection potato is still way above like 1 ETH, right? That means like $1,000, $2,000. So I think that's a lot of money to a lot of people, right, including me, right? That's why, honestly, before NFT, right, I barely buy anything that is above 1 ETH, 2 ETH, right? So I feel like NFT is very interesting attraction, yeah, to make people to pay, to make people crazy, right? That's why we understand that part. That's why we always say that NFT is for community, right? Because when you spend thousands of dollars to buy a JPEG, of course you are very involved, right? So I think that part is something that we fully understand. But at the same time, we also believe that if we want to increase the influence of Memeland, right, we need to include more people in our community. Yeah, no product or no company, right, it can be super influential. Yeah, when you only have like a few thousand people involved in your ecosystem. That's why we are launching Memecoin, right, as a tool, right, to kind of like help us to reach more people. Right? I mean, if you go to memecoin.org, you know that Memecoin is 100% meme, right? We don't have any promises and roadmap and stuff like that, right? For a lot of reasons, right? But I think the main reason is we want to make sure that you get Memecoin for the right reason. Yeah, I think that's why we have the Memecoin. Yeah, and then of course we'll be launching some product and to kind of like build I would say, build out the vision that we have for SoFi or for SoFi, right? Yeah, I think that's the background, the context. Yeah. And then for farming, it's very straightforward. Yeah, I think instead of doing a lot of meaningless campaign, yeah, we should do some fun stuff, right? So everyone can participate. Yeah, there are I would say two parts of the farming. Yeah. But I think one part is more about our existing holders. One part is about anyone who is in
Yeah.
or who is not yet in our ecosystem. Yeah.
The referrals, right? Like we want to
Yeah.
talk about the referrals.
Yeah. I think let me talk about the part about our community first. Yeah, I think that
Sure.
part is easier to understand. Yeah, I think for Memeland, right? We are a community company, right? We target to be a community company. That's why we always rely on our holders, rely on our communities, right? When we do things, right? Because at the end of the day, right, we believe that word of mouth is the most powerful marketing. Right? It's not where you hire some celebrities or some superstar, right, to talk about
Yeah.
a project. I mean, that helps, right? But I think after some time, people understand that, okay, a celebrity, they also take sponsorship, right, to do the advertising and stuff like that, right? Do they really use the product, right? Do they really like the product? I think a lot of people have questions about that, right? And I think especially in the newer generation, we kind of understand that we want authenticity, right? So that's why we believe that why community is so powerful is because you are not getting paid, right, to do what you do. You actually pay, right, to join the community. So I think that part is very important, right? And right now, when we invite our existing holders, right, to kind of lead the farming, right? Because right now, who has the most vested interest, right, in Memeland? Of course, it's our team, right? And then our holders. Yeah. So we want to leverage our holders, work together, right? To tell more people about meme coin, tell more people about Memeland. Yeah. So the referral program is actually very, very straightforward, right? It's almost like people talk about MLM in Discord, right? Yeah, and then multi-level marketing, right? I think there's no multi-level marketing. It's almost like one level of marketing, right? And MLM
It's like the old
stands for
trick. It's an
Pardon?
old trick. It's an old trick.
This is I think it's more about, okay, this is good. Yeah, that's why you tell your friends, right? It's kind of like that. Yeah, it's not really about, okay, you have to share. I don't know. I think there is a definition of MLM. There's a definition of Ponzi scheme, right? I'm not an economist, right? So I don't want to get into that. But for us, it's actually very, very straightforward because I think it's not like, okay, you are at the top of the pyramid and then you can earn more. It's not something like that. It's more like, okay, this is fun, and then you just ask your friend to join. It's almost like you invite them to join the game. Yeah, it's kind of like that, and then both of you can actually enjoy some benefit. Yeah, it's the same marketing tactics of like Uber, of like a Deliveroo, of all the top consumer-facing app in the space. Yeah, so the whole goal is, if you have an MVP, if you have a captains, if you have a potatoes, right, there will be a place where when a new user join the farming, there's a place where there's a task where they can fill in the NFT item number. Yeah, and then both of the referrer and referee, right, they will we will record that we will record them down, and then when we do the farming airdrop and stuff, that will be part of the calculation. Yeah, so that was what the referrer did, right? I think we try to make it very, very straightforward, right? So that, you don't have to use any code and stuff like that. Yeah, because the best code is actually, okay, the captain's number, right? The MVP number, the potatoes number. We try to keep it, we try to simplify it, right? That's why we only have that part in our farming program. And that part is more about the referral program. Yeah, and that part, the main character of this part is our NFT holders. Yeah. Any questions so far?
No, I think like people are saying like the June saying, I heard farming for 2 weeks will get money to buy a free Big Mac. So like I think people are very interested and really excited about farming. So when does it start, and like what's our plan next week?
Yeah, I think we actually started it, right? We started to change the username and change the Twitter banner. Right? I think that's the first part because when we have farming, right? Of course, we need some tracking to understand that okay, you actually did farm, right? So for that part, we don't have to wait for the dashboard to launch, right? I think for the dashboard, we still are tweaking some minor part to finish the last mile, right? We will be launching the dashboard. I think should be today. I'm in Hong Kong, right? So today, Hong Kong afternoon, right? I think depending on Kevin, right? Kevin Yun's final I would say deployment, right? And I
Yeah.
think that part is we are launching it, yeah, and but we want to start it because I think awareness, right? It doesn't mean that you have to have the product to create the awareness. Most of the time, just like a movie, right? Just like a TV show, right? Before you launch a main show, you actually do the trailer, right? I think having the add the love meme coin on the username and also Twitter handle, X handle, right? And then the banner, right? I think those are the things that is like part of the farming already. Yeah, and then after the dashboard is launched, yeah, you can sign up and connect your Twitter account. Then we will track that. Okay, you actually have done that task, right? So right now you can already you would say that you already kind of like started to farm. Yeah.
So like basically that's like a registration of being a farmer. So like right now you just need to like prepare your username and your banner. So people are also asking, is there a limit on like referrals? Like is it per captain, per potatoes? Is there a limitation to that?
Yeah, I mean, right now, no, right? Official answer is no, right? And unofficial answer is maybe, right? I think the whole goal is how can we invite authentic people, right, to join the Memeland ecosystem, right? And I understand that in our space, everything that seems interesting, right, will be botted, right? So I feel like I can't confirm or deny that there's no cap or no debotting and stuff, right? But I would say that if you invite your real friends, right, or your followers to join, right, then basically your effort will be I would say will be seen, right, and then we will try to reward that effort, yeah, with some meme coin, right? I think that part is for sure, yeah, and that's why we don't set a cap. Yeah, we don't set a hard cap, but because maybe you're super popular. Maybe Karen, you do the referral. Maybe we get like thousands of people sign up. Who knows, right? So
Yeah.
for that part, we don't really have a hard cap, right? But we will look at the quality of the people that you refer, right? And then we will make some adjustment. Yeah.
Right. So Shane's got a good question. Like, how many percentage of supply goes to the farming itself? Like, I know that we're trying to finalize like the fire cell and how do we dedicate like each percentage on different parts of the fire cell?
I mean, for the marketing part, right? I think that part is actually very important because if there's no awareness, right, then even though we have the fire sale, even though we launch a token, right, on DEX or on SEX, right, it doesn't really mean anything because there's no extra demand, right? There's not enough awareness, right? So we allocate a good amount of the meme coin, right, to the farming program, and the farming program actually is not just pre meme coin launch, right? When this is more like, because I think most of the things that we do, we have a bigger vision behind it, right? But the first version that we launch, usually it kind of like a simple, and also most of the time it kind of sucks, right? That's why we are a big believer in the lean startup methodology, which is okay. You launch a minimal viable product first, and for the meme coin, for the meme farming, right, it's actually part of that, right? I think the whole goal is how can we create a very simple incentive, right, to educate or to encourage people to do something that helps our ecosystem, right? And I think before MemeCoin launch, of course, it's very, very straightforward. It's more about spreading increasing their awareness about MemeCoin, right? And after MemeCoin launch, right, we can continue to do it, right? Because as we all know, right, in Memeland, we always try to partner with other projects, right, other existing brands, and then to bring them to talk about Web3 about them, right? I think all those things. We can have a very, very straightforward way to reward the people who contribute in our ecosystem. Yeah, I think one of the I would say issues, right, in NFT spaces, when we talk about community, right? Right now we focus solely on how many NFTs you own, right? Or what
Mm.
NFT tiers that you own, right? I think a lot of our holders, they may not own a lot of NFTs, but they do a lot of things for Memeland, right? For example, all the PBN guys, right? I think Gringo, right? I think all of
Yeah.
these holders, they only own maybe one or two or few captains, right? Potatoes, right? But they actually create a lot of value, right, to our community, to all our community members, right? How can we make the effort, reward them more of, I would say, systematically, right? And how can we give them a way to to uh, 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 um, to do their work, but also get recognition, right? I think all this kind of stuff is something similar to. It's kind of similar to, for example, some projects, right? They have like grants and some program that you can apply for subsidy and stuff like that. It's kind of like that kind of concept, right? I think for farming, if we look at it by the nature, basically it's the same thing, right? You do work for our ecosystem. That's why we give you some token for appreciation, right? Which is meme coin for in our case, right? So I think for that part, farming is only we started farming before meme coin launch, but we'll continue to have farming, right, for other purposes, in the future. Yeah.
So people are also asking, like, what does the holders actually get, like, in actual terms, like if they do a referral? So do they have to be careful, like who do they want to refer to, like what kind of people that they want to get into the ecosystem?
Yeah, this is the second part, right? That I'm gonna talk about. Right. I think for the referral part is very straightforward, right? When you sign up, there's a space where you can input the number, right? So as an NFT holder, right? Right now you can pick if you have multiple NFT, right? Then it's fine, right? You just pick one. That's good enough. Yeah. And then when you sign up, we will ask you to use your delegate wallet, right, or the wallet that you have your captains, right, so they will understand that you are the NFT holders. Yeah. And then we will ask our users to fill in what are the NFT item number. Yeah, so that we can in our back end we can track which captains, which potatoes, which MVP refer the most people to join the farming. Right? I think that part is very, very straightforward. Once you go to our dashboard, follow the steps, and then you can understand how it's done. Yeah, we need people to connect Twitter, because right now, right, even if you own our NFT, we don't know what your Twitter is. Right. That's why we need to connect that, so that we can reward you when we do the meme farming airdrop. Yeah. And then for the second part, which is the farming part, I think that part is is actually quite stupid in a way. Right? We thought about
fun,
a
right?
lot of things. Yeah.
Stupid fun.
I don't know. I think it's fun. People think it's stupid, right? I think it's like a potato, right? Who knows, right? I think usually fun things seems pretty stupid, right? But if you enjoy doing it, then it's not really that stupid. It's fun, right?
Yeah.
I think meme is kind of like that, right? And I think a lot of things in life is also kind of like that. Yeah. So I think the whole goal, but before talking about the details, right, of the whole mechanism, right? One thing that I want to share is we look at a lot of the existing projects in the space, right, including most of the meme coins, including some of the social fi tokens, right, to see how they do the activation, right? I think there are different ways, right? I think most of the ways is like super spammy. Super spammy means they encourage people to leave certain posts or comment, right, under other people's posts, right? I think that part may create awareness, right? But it also make people annoyed about your project, right? Because when you try
Or
to,
is that the point?
pardon?
Or is that the point, to like basically bombarding people until they know about this?
No, but the thing is, it's almost like spam call, right? No one really likes spam call. Of course, when you
Yeah.
call us, oh, we heard about your company, right? But the more I get your call, the more I hate your company, right? I think
Exactly.
that's how we think about the quote unquote marketing, right? I think a lot of people don't understand marketing enough, or maybe they understand, right? But they try to kind of like maybe that's the audience that they want, right? Because maybe they only want someone who doesn't mind getting spam, right? But honestly, most of the time, when you don't mind getting spam, the quality of those people that you onboard are usually not super high, right? Because their time cost is so low, right? That's why
Yeah.
they don't really care. Right, that's the reason why all those like super spammy kind of like campaign kind of works, right? And I think after after seeing those campaigns, right, as a user of X, right, I see tons of projects try to just spam below my tweet and stuff, right? And then when I see, oh, I got like 100 comments, right, and then look at it, 99 of them are just spam, right? That's not something that I want to do, right? I want it to be more like a very conscious thing for the participant, right? And we try not to affect the people around it involuntarily, right? I mean, when we, for example, right, when we change a user handle, right, we change it, right, and then of course our followers will see it, but our followers will not get, I would say, badly impacted, right? Because I change my name, I can change just like I change my profile pic. I can say whatever I want, right? But I don't have to go to your home, right? And then try to kind of like disturb you, right? I think that's the main principle that we want to do, right? Because we want to set I would say, good example on how social marketing can be done. At the end of, I think after all, at Nightget, right, we did social marketing for like 15 years, right? So I think we understand the pros and cons, right? I mean, sometimes when we have to fulfill certain requirement of some kinds, of course, they want to do a more like spammy way. We advise against that, but they still want to do. Then we probably will do it, right? Yeah, because of different reasons, right? But we try to minimize the bad influence, the bad impact, right? And then for our own product, right? Of course, we want to do it the way that we want to do, right? And that's why we create a way that's like less spammy. Yeah, and I think when I talk about spammy, right? For example, I have a tweet, and then you leave a comment, okay, and then have a hashtag or have a coin sign, right? I think that feels very spammy, right? And I think that is also hard for the system to really track it, right? Because I think after the X Twitter acquisition, right, I think they actually changed the API of Twitter, right? So it's not that easy to track a lot of engagement and interaction, and that creates a lot of I would say discrepancy and also dispute on how you actually farm your token, right? If you do a marketing in that way, right? So what we try to do is to make it less intrusive, right? And then make it fun, right? Because most of the time, when you just leave a hashtag, it doesn't really mean shit, right? And also when you copy and paste some very spammy link, right? It doesn't really mean anything, right? I think most of the time, we believe that for this kind of like lightweight marketing, it's more about raising the awareness. It's more about brand building, right? It's less about actual conversion right now. That's why shit ton of biggest brand in the world, like McDonald's or Coca-Cola, right? Or Nike, right? Most of the time, they sell you stuff, but they don't ask you to go to a link to do anything, right? And I think that's the whole goal for us. Yeah. So I think that is the part that we want to do, right? And I think because before farming, right, we also did the waitlist cooks giveaway. I think that part is a little bit different, right? But we because for waitlist cook is like a backup, right, for the a fire sale that we have, right? You actually have to pay, right, to join the fire sale, right? And if you have the allow list, if you have captains, right, you join it, right? And then waitlist cooks, you also have a chance to join it, right? I think that part is the waitlist cook. We also continue. We keeping that, right? I think I see some people asking about, oh, what about the waitlist cook? I think it's about different thing, right? Waitlist cook is more about joining our community fire sale, right? And then for the farming, it's actually just like a general marketing campaign, right? For the whole Web3 crypto space. Yeah. So long story short, basically, what we do is we will create some daily quests that you have to do. Yeah. And those daily quests is super simple, right? Most of the time, probably, right, it's just like a copy pasta. Yeah. Where for people who don't know what copy pasta is, basically it's like a fun message, right? It you just copy it and then you spread the awareness, right? Voluntarily, right? And then when people, when your followers, when your friends see it, right, somehow they will read it very seriously, and then figure out, oh, damn, this is just a joke, right? Something like that. Right? I don't have a good definition of copy pasta, right? But basically, it's like copy and paste, right? But copy and paste an existing message, right? I think that's what we want to do, right? I think there are a lot of messaging.
Copy and pasting, and with also some personalized like touch, you can also like put into that post
Yeah,
as well.
I think
So
I
it's
think
not
I think
exactly
we will
like
track
copy
the
and paste.
yeah, we will track the keywords, right? And I think we will track the percentage of to see whether the tweets are identical and stuff, right? But I think some of the copy pasta that we have, right, we will leave some blanks where you can fill in the blanks, right, so that it makes it more personalized. Yeah, it's like you can tell a joke, right, but you can also change the character in the joke, right, into yourself, right, so that it feels more, I would say, immersive, right? I think that's something that we can do. Of course, all those copy pasta may not be 100% original, right? Because there are a lot of things that are great, and we don't have to be original to be great, right? So it's more about embracing the meme culture in the space, right? And when you are in when we are in the NFT space for long enough, we see that from time to time, communities, they will just suddenly starting some copy and copy pasta, right, on Discord, on Twitter, right, for no reason, right? No, for some reason. It's basically fun. It's basically to show the outside world that, okay, we are united, right? Yeah, and I think those are the fun aspect of the copy pasta. I think people don't mind seeing some fun engagement, right, from the community, right, because it shows how strong the community is. But at the same time, what if that copy pasta, right, can spread a message that the ecosystem want to spread, right? So I think that's creates a win-win. Right? It's more like a one stone, two birds. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like we're also brainstorming a lot of like maybe we can include memes in the daily task. That's like the mission of like creating new memes as well. So meme is also it's also part of like the copy pasting culture. It's like to recreate your own, like it's like a second-handed creativity, right? So we want to like spread that out and like basically embracing the power of the community.
Yeah, I think I think one thing that I learned in the NFT crypto space is there's so many talented people out there, right? I think
Yeah.
be it traders or flipper, right? I think it's more than just money. I think some people they're just so talented, right? And they also have so much time, right? That's why they can leverage the existing community, right, to do something more. I think that's the power of community, right? It's not like, okay, you join it and then you totally rely on the team, right, to deliver some utility or some product, right? I think even being part of the community, you meet some friends, you meet other holders, and you can do something cool with them together, right? For example, like some of our teammates, like Cha, right? I actually met him at Kaiju Kings, right? I think all these kind of connections that we made, right, is maybe most of the time is even more powerful or valuable, right, than the money that you can get, right, from buying and selling the NFT, right? Especially when most of the NFT right now is like close to zero, right? So I think when people joke about, okay, all we make is the friends, right? What we get is all we get is like the friends, right, in the journey or something like that, right? I think it's not really a joke, right? It's kind of like a truth, yeah, because those are the people that can create a higher value together, yeah.
But then the connection that we made along the way, I mean, like there are more people that we met now. It's through this whole meme land adventure that we had, right? Like this whole journey of like even the GM show, we met so many talented people in the community as well. And then we're actually, inviting these talents into our own like team right now. So there are more people that are coming from the actual community and then being part of the team now. So I'm actually really grateful about like meeting all these people, because there are some real talent, even like referring us to like companies that we are working with. There are so many people in the community actually helping us out. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the whole point of Web3, right? If we only rely on our team, yeah, then why would we give value, right, to our community, right? Because we should reward people who who spend the effort, right? I think I mean I believe in that, right? Otherwise, why would I work hard, right? Why would I study hard, right? If I don't get rewarded, right? Of course, I learn. I mean, even back to into school days, right? I think all we get is actually the knowledge, right? The information that we learn from the books, right? That's why we study hard, right? It's not because and then if I randomly tell you that okay, the number one in class is actually someone who didn't do well in the exams, right? I think that doesn't work, right? I think there are a lot of I would say ideologies out there, right? But most of the time, I think rewarding people who spend the hard work, who work hard and work smart, I think that's the most straightforward ways in human history, right? I think there are some other way that different countries are tested. Most of the time, it doesn't end well, right? It's not because the system doesn't work, right? It's actually because people, right, only work for because want to work hard, right, for something that they can get rewarded. Right? I think that part is quite important. Yeah. So I think a lot of the times, we just have to make sure that we convey that message, right, through the program that we launch. Right? Otherwise, we are just rewarding someone that we don't want. Right. I think that's also the reason why we want to have the farming, right, before the MemeCoin launch, right. On one hand, because we can test it, as a marketing, right, for MemeCoin, right, and also it's almost like a new kind of like a product that we will do, right, when we have after the MemeCoin launch, right, because after MemeCoin launch, it's even easier for us to work with different partners, right. And when those partners give value to us, on one hand, of course, we can give to our NFT holders, right? But among all the NFT holders, who we should give those, let's say, value to, right? Do we only kind of like look at the number of NFT that you hold? Do we always just do like lucky draw, right? I don't think that's the best way, right? If doing lucky draw is the best way, right? Then why don't we go to work and then just wait for the end of the month, right? And then just do a lucky draw and then to decide which one get paid, right? I think ownership on one hand is great, right? But on the other hand, we also want to make sure that people who are actively engaging with the community, I think that part is also important. I feel like the definition of community should not be just based on the number of NFTs that you own. Right? I think that part is very important, right? But not the only factor. I think the effort, right, should be shown, right? And I think that's something that we want to test it out with meme farming. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have 400 people listening right now. Like, if they want to get involved, like, instead of besides farming, of course, they have to join the farming. What else, like, we should get them to do as well before the launch?
I think people are very well prepared, right? Because we started to talk about it in June, right? And I think one thing why our community is not happy, right, is because they prepare already, and then the train still hasn't left the station, right? I think
they're
that's
mentally
the reason.
prepared.
Yeah, they mentally prepare, and I think they also prepare their wallet, right? And that's the reason why our community is unhappy, right? So I feel like we don't have to ask our community more for preparation and stuff like that, right? I think we just need to communicate better, right? And to actually have something that everyone can participate in, right? Because the whole farming, right, the effort is actually not high, right? I think it's just a fun way to do the marketing, right, without paying a shit ton of like money, right, or token, right, to the crypto influencer. Again, I'm not against crypto influencer, right, in the way that they handle the marketing. I'm just feeling that in the long run, right, I think the incentives are more aligned if we reward our holders, right, if we reward the participants, right, instead of some influencer, instead of just some influencer. Yeah.
So I want to ask more of a personal question. Like, after all these up and downs and now preparing for the meme launch, how do you feel right now? Like, after doing it for 2 years and then finally this is the launch.
I think saying it is like a roller coaster. It sounds like cliche, right? But
it is kind of a roller coaster, right?
No. I mean, no. I think for us as a team, I think it's actually the direction is very, very straightforward, right? I think the road is definitely bumpy, right? But I think that's expected because we are building in the wild wild west, right? It's almost like you are actually driving in the desert, right? And I think the road is definitely to or countryside. I think it has to be kind of like a bumpy road, right? Because if the road is so smooth, then everyone can drive on it, right? And that's like the bull market, and that's why a lot of people they make some money in the bull market, and then the project crash, right? In so-called bear market, right? I think for us, we mentally very prepared, right? And then financially we also very prepared, right? This is like a long-term battle, right? This is like a marathon, right? And I think those are the reason why Memeland is still standing strong, right? I think when you look at I think I shared that on Discord before as well. When you look at a project, right, there are only a few things that you need to look at, right? At least that's what I see. Number one is the team, right? Number two is what is their vision, right? Number three is do they have the resources to build the vision, right? I think these are the three main factors, right? Of course, some of the I think for me personally, right, I think I learn a lot of things, right, in the space, right, because I buy a lot of NFTs, right, so I'm down bad than most of our holders, right, so I feel you, right, I really feel you, right, yeah, that's why we try to avoid those mistakes. Sometimes we still make those mistakes because it's kind of like life, right? I mean, our parents told us not to date a bad boy or bad girl, right, but you still want to give it a try, right? Because this is fun, right? And then turns out it sucks, and then you only know it when you learn your lesson, right? You pay your lesson fee, right? It's kind of like that, right? And I think some of the time, the so-called delay is really out of our control, right? Because some of the launches, right? I think it relies on third party, right? It relies on outside partners, right? And I think that part is something that we should do a better. We should have done a better job, right? Because we can always leave more room, right? I don't want to become the victim, right? I want to feel powerful, right? That's why we always take the responsibility, right? But sometimes we just can't mention certain thing because we have NDA, right? Sometimes we just can't launch something, right? Because of something which is more important, right? And we can't say. I think those are the moments that I feel kind of bad, right? Because it's almost like, okay, you just get misunderstood, and then people call you names and stuff like that, right? But I feel like this is part of the game, right? I think if you don't like that, don't join this game, right? I think being a founder is not all sunshine, right? I think most of the time it's fucking rainy days, right? It's stormy days, right? I think that's the part why we have to understand better, right? And I think, but before talking more about my feelings, I actually just want to sum up a little bit, right, about what we are doing for the farming, right? And also something about the fire sale and also the pre-sale. I think for the farming part, in short, there are two parts, right? First part is like the referral program, right? It's for our NFT holders. So pick one of your NFT and MVP captains or potatoes, they're all fine, right? And then tell people that, okay, if you want to join and also get the invite code, right? To get the points, right, for the referral, right? Tell people that, okay, when you sign up, right, fill in the numbers of the NFT. For example, okay, I own captains like 999, right? Then I tell people that, okay, if you want to be part of my crew, right, sign up with the captains 999, right? Fill in the blanks with 999. Then people know, then our system knows that, okay, you are actually referred by Ray. Yeah. And then you and Ray both get a point, right? Get some point. Yeah. I think that's for the referral part. That's like very straightforward. Yeah. It's if you use like Uber or Deliveroo, basically it's the same mechanism. Yeah. And then the second part is the daily quest, right? Or the quest, not daily, right? I think for the quest, right? Right now, before launch, it's like more like a daily, yeah. And then the quests right now, most of them are just copy pasta, right? We want to have a very simple copy pasta on one hand to make it fun, right? To raise the awareness, right? On the other hand, to make it simple enough so everyone can join, right? Because some people suggested that, oh, what if like a meme competition, right? What if we ask people to write the thread, right, and stuff like that. Honestly, right, we don't have the time to check out all the memes, right? We don't have the time to check out all the thread submission, right? Not because we are lazy, right? Because we got like 10,000, 30,000 submission, right? And I think we just don't have the time to check all of them. So we want to track something that we can easily track and also meaningful enough and also simple enough. And honestly, not everyone is very talented like our community artists, right? That's why we can't draw fan art, right? I think copy pasta is something that so
Easy
stupid
enough,
and simple that everyone can do it. I think that's the reason why I choose this kind of format, right? And of course, we try to do it this way so that everyone can participate, right? And also we are awareness that maybe there are people who will be botting the whole farming thing, right? I think that's also the reason why we will do some debotting, right, at the back end. It's quite easy, right, to look at the pattern, right, because everyone is like joining it, and then that's why it's quite easy for us to do the debotting, right? So the final meme point, right, which is relevant to the meme airdrop, right, for this farming, right? I think there will probably some I would say clean up at the end, right, to make sure that only the honest, right, farmer get rewarded the most. Yeah, I think that's the two main thing about the farming. When we launch the dashboard, it's very easy for everyone to understand how it's done, right? I think when we make product, we try to make it simple enough so that when you use it, you don't even have to read the menu, right? I think that's the whole goal. Yeah, that's the whole goal for us to build products. Yeah. And then something about the fire sale and community pre-sale. That means the community pre-sale release codes is actually for the fire sale. That part is still is super valid, right? Because we will be launching the pre-sale this month. And I think that part, we will announce more details, right, when the day is closed. We will leave at least like 1 week, right, for people to mentally and financially prepare for that. Yeah, and I think we'll be making some announcement very soon because we are approaching the end of October anyway. Yeah, so I think that's the two parts about the pre-launch stuff. Yeah, and then for the launching, right, I think we share with our community the strategy, right? On one hand, we understand that Web3, the ethos is more about decentralization, right? That's why we try to work with some top DEXs, right, to make sure that if there's anything that we can do better, right, to reduce the potential slippage, right, when our holders, right, set up the pool or something like that, right? I think we're working with a few top DEXs on that, and then on the success part, we'll be making some announcement very soon, right? We understand that most people, they still trade crypto, right, on the success, right? So we try to partner with some top exchanges on that part as well, right? So these are the two parts that we will also make some announcement very, very soon. Yeah, because at the end of the day, October is ending, right? So we need to clear the air. Otherwise, people are calling me scammers and liars again and again, right? I mean, it's so you can't affect me, right? But I try not to affect you, right? Because I don't want people to be always in a very negative mood. Yeah, I don't think it is healthy, right? I mean that's not something that we want to do with MemeLand as well. Yeah, and actually, I think these are the few things that are very specifically about what we are launching these few weeks. Yeah, and it's very funny, right? When we mention like 2 to 3 weeks, some people are all already complaining, right? And then I was like, shit, if we give some room, right, to make sure that we can deliver on time, then it's not okay, right? And then if we give a very specific time, but there is probably some error. I believe in like Murphy laws. I think if anything can go wrong, it will go wrong, right? That's why we always try to leave some room. We always try to double check, right? So we try to make it very, I would say, flexible enough, but also clear enough, right? And I think that's something that we try to do with the meme launch as well. Yeah.
Yeah, because like we're counting down to our event in November. So like if people are traveling, they should know about the plan because you don't want to miss anything like while you're on a flight, right?
Yep. I think this is also some concerns, right? Not complaints, because it's not really a complaint. It's a legit concern. Yeah. That's why we will make the announcement so that before you travel, right, to Hong Kong or to other places, right, you know what you have to prepare, right? I think everyone's is different, right? Some people use Ledger, some people don't, right? Not Ledger, right? But co-wallet, right? So whether you bring your Ledger, it seems like I only talk about Ledger, right? I mean, yeah, because I'm a holder of the NFT, right? But anyway, yeah, it's like when people talk about a co-wallet, when people bring their co-wallet and stuff, right? When you know that our arrangement, then it's easier for you to decide whether you should bring it or not. Right? I think that's something that we try to do. There's no point to rush people to join the fire sale, right? And then we tell them, okay, 2 minutes, 1 day ago, right? I think that's not our way to do things, right? I think most of the time, we understand the power of FOMO, right? Fear of missing out, right? But at the same time, we also understand that FOMO is kind of like a steroid in a way. It has a lot of like side effects. Yeah, it has a lot of aftermath, right? Because when people can't join it, then they will get angry. When they get angry, right, it actually harms the community in the long run, right? That's not something that we want to do. Yeah, that's why we always leave enough time. Yeah, be it like for registering for some for our community pre-sale or for NFT means, right? We always give enough time, right, so that people don't have to worry about that, right? I mean, we can't cater all the needs because, I mean, we got like thousands of people in our community, right? What if you go to like I don't know, North Pole, right? Then of course we can't cater that, right? What if you're traveling on the exact same day, right? We can't cater that, right? What we can do is do for the fire sale, right? We give enough time, right? I think we have at least like 48 hours for the fire sale, unless you fly to the space, right? Otherwise, you should be on the ground within like 48 hours, right? Yeah, and because no plane travel, right, would be like longer than like 48 hours. Right? I don't think any plane actually has that kind of fuel, right, to run for like 48 hours. Yeah, so I think we have enough time, right, for the fire sale. But whether you bring your wallet and whether you how you plan your itinerary or schedule, right? I think that's depends on your personal need, right? But we try to give enough time so people don't have to worry too much about that, right? Because I think we try not to, I mean, not a big fan of guest war, not in the past, not right now, right? So we try to avoid that. Yeah, but sometimes a little bit guest war is needed, right? Because we want to show that there's momentum, right? But most of the time, now if you are our holders, right, you don't need to rush, right? That's why we have the allow list and wait list. I think if you are not yet a holder, of course you need to rush because that's the price that you have to pay when you are not our NFT holders. Yeah, so I think for that part, we will make announcement, right? At least like a few days, a week before, right? All the things, so people can make their own arrangement. Yeah, and then another thing that I want to share more is if you are coming to Hong Kong, right? I really look forward to meeting our holders, right? I mean, make sure that I don't know, what do I want to say? Yeah. Make sure that you have fun in Hong Kong, right? I hope that you come to Hong Kong not just for meme land, right? Because honestly, I mean, we are awesome, right? But we are not that awesome for not yet, or not awesome enough for travel, right? I think it's not because we are not good, right? It's more because we are humble as an Asian, right? We are humble as a team. We do our best. We try to create a good experience, right? For people who join the art party in Singapore, right? They know that we try to partner with the best partners, right? To bring the best experience to every participant in the space. It's almost like we don't do in real life events, right? But when we do, right, we try to make it great. Yeah. So I think for that part, I hope that you come to Hong Kong, you enjoy Hong Kong, right? That's why part of the events that we have for our holders is actually a boat trip, right, around the Victoria Harbour, which is like one of the most famous best sightseeing part, right, in Hong Kong, and also I think probably in the world, right? Because I think the night scene of Hong Kong, the harbour scene of Hong Kong is one of the best in the world. I think that's where the name of Hong Kong come from, right? It's called the Pearl of Hong Kong, right? I think when we talk about the pearl, it's because it's like bright and shiny. It's because talking about the night view, right? The night scenery. Right? I think that's the reason why we have the boat trip, right? And of course, it rhymed with the Memeland theme, right? About pirate, about stuff, right? And we ran the boat, and even that boat, right? They had their own pirate trip, right? For kids and for families, right? Of course, I understand that our holders are much older than kids, right? That's why we don't ask them to join that pirate trip. Otherwise, you have to play dress up and stuff like that, right? But
Yeah, that's the gimmicky part of the.
that's I think that's a hard part. Yeah, I actually hate dress code, right? When I have to go to a party, right? Most of the time, I just don't give a fuck about
You're
the
in
dress.
sports.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think that's why we have the boat trip, and also on the second day we also have the I would say a party, right? At the cup,
Yeah.
right? I think that hopefully is a great experience. We spend like a lot of effort, right, and a lot of resources to make it fun, right? I mean, if you can't come to Hong Kong, never mind, right? Because we just make a new hire. We will be making an announcement tomorrow, right? So that I mean, he's a well-loved guy, right, in our community, right, and not super famous yet, right, but he's kind of like I don't know, just well loved by our community, right? Because he
Yeah.
proves himself that he has the ability to organize offline events, right, in different places as well, right? So that we hire him, we invite him to join our team, right? So that we can do more in real life stuff, right? But not just in Hong Kong, but around the world, around Asia,
We'll
right?
do a
Around
world tour.
yeah, more like a world tour, right? But I think just like Taylor Swift, right? You can't go to every city, every country, right? Yeah, but we try to pick the key cities and key countries, yeah, so that you can fly, maybe have like a 2-hour flight, right? Then you can join our events. I think that's something that we try to do more, right? Because I think I shared that in the previous GM show is after the Token 2049 in Korea blockchain week, right? I feel like the vibe of real life event, right, even among the same community, is very different. On online, on Discord, on Twitter, sometimes it's always realized is, I would say it's like 80% negativity, right, 20% positivity, right. I think in real life it's almost like 100% positivity, because if you are
Yeah.
not bullish, if you are not happy, you probably won't go to that event, right.
Yeah,
I
a
think that
physical
part
event is like a lot of effort for
yes,
someone
a
that
lot of
is
effort for the people
possible.
who join and also for the organizer, right? So I think that part is important, because you feel that you are not alone, right? You are not just in it because of money. You're not in it because of the online argument, right? You are not in it for all the online, I don't know, drama, right? You are in it because you want to meet people, and those are the relationship that you can build, and you can kind of like I would say grow with that relationship. I think that is the reason why we also do the event, right, in Hong Kong, right, and also we will have the GM show live, right, in Hong Kong as well. Yeah, I think
Yes.
our holders will have the priority access, right, to the GM show. I think we book a pretty I don't know whether it's big or not, right, but I think
It's
around
like a
70
small, yeah,
small
70
theater. Yeah.
people. It's like a small theater space. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that part is also to kind of like I don't know, just a different experience. I think this is another meet and greet, right, with our holders as well, right? And I think I think we did that in Singapore. We test run it in Singapore. I mean, we have, I think, 20, 30 people, right, on the site at Singapore, in the Singapore GM show, right? I think that is a pretty good experience, right, for our guests as well as for our participants, right? I think we also try to do that, right, for GM show. Yeah, we actually will spin off a GM show as a separate company, a separate entity, right, so that we can put more effort into it, and then so that we can do more with GM show, and also not just the GM show itself, but more like on the media side, right? I think that we will share more, right? But the direction is less about talk show, right? It's more about maybe like comedy, that kind of stuff, right? Because I think offline stuff, I think it would be better to make it fun instead of just like a daily talk show or weekly talk show. I think we still want to be educational, right? But most of the time, I think people come to the show, right? They want to learn something. But most of the people in the space, they don't really want to learn something, right? They just want to have fun, right? And that's why we will also extend to that part as well. We'll be changing the format and stuff. I think Casey and Karen, and also we will announce that when we do the GM show live, right? I think we will be changing the GM show format a little bit, so that all the valuable sharing by our guests, right? It remains valuable, right? Even
Yeah.
if you listen to it, even if you read it, right? After 3 months, after 3 years, that's what we want to do. I think we have been test running GM show. This is like the 24th episode, right? I think we've been running it for like 6 months already, right? We have enough data point, right, to see how we should change the format, and that's a very exciting direction that I'm personally very excited about. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like what we also want to do is like making sure that this is evergreen instead of like, oh, you it's no longer relevant like the next day. So I think this is the show that the direction that we want to go after.
Yeah, I think the concept is very straightforward, right? I think for media, right, the cost of creating a high quality media is expensive, right? I think that part is really hard to compress the cost, right? For example, for this show, right, we have like 2 hosts, and then we have preparation. We have to invite the guests, right, and then we were hiring a producer, and then hiring audio engineering and stuff like that, right, to make sure that we improve the quality of the content, right? I think that part, if we want to make it good, is really hard to compress that cost, right? Yeah, but at the same time, how can we make sure that okay, all the shows is not only listened by like a few hundred people or a few thousand people. I mean, it's decent, right? I think we are one of the top shows in the Web3 space, right? And one of the top shows that doesn't talk about pump and dump and alpha, right, in the space. And that's
Yeah.
why a lot of the builders, right, they actually reach out to us and want to come to our show, right? Because they feel like this is like a safe base to talk about their vision, to talk about their mission, right? Instead of, oh, what is the next big thing that you will launch, and so that people can front run others, right? It's not about that. It's more about builders, right? And that's why we have the ABC of GM show.
Yeah.
And I think
A
we
is
try
not
to
the alpha.
yeah, exactly. A is for Asia, right? But I think
Yeah.
that's the main point of GM show. We kind of like focus on that and then iterate the output, iterate the product, right? And I think the new format can be quite fun, and I think it will make the content more evergreen, right? So that it doesn't we don't compress the cost, but we actually increase the output, right? So that more people can find a GM show or the content of GM show valuable and meaningful. Yeah, and I think that's for the GM show, right? And I feel like yeah, I think to sum up, right, farming, right, we will be launching a dashboard, I think today. I have to check, sync up with our team. I think latest tomorrow, right? But I think today is quite possible. Yeah, there will be a few like I would say starting tasks, a starting quest that you can already do, right? And then we will starting the copy pasta, I would say campaign, right? And then the referral program is also starting, yeah, immediately. Yeah, once you do it, then just follow the instruction of our Twitter account, of Memeland account, and also follow the instruction on the farming website. Yeah. The farming website will be on memecon.org, right? So make sure that you go to the correct website. Yeah, I think it's either memecon.org or memeland.com, right? I think I have to check with Kevin on that. Yeah, but we only do things on this, mainly do things on these 2 websites. Yeah, so make sure that you don't connect your account or connect your wallet, right, on the scam website and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yep. Make sure that you're on top of our Twitter, well, we're our X, so that
Yeah.
you know like, what's going on and like what's launched. Yeah.
Yeah. I think one last thing, which is like very, very random, is I recommend everyone, not everyone, I think builders, right, to watch the so-called documentary, right, on Netflix about Beckham. Yeah, David Beckham. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
actually pretty good. Yeah, it's actually pretty good. I mean, I was born around I mean, I think
We were in that generation.
I'm
Yeah.
in that generation. Yeah, I think Beckham is older than me, right? But I think I was the generation. I was the generation. I was there, right? When Manchester United, right, get the become like the top teams, right, in the
Yeah.
Europe, right? Yeah, I mean Beckham. I think most of my female friends, right, they love Beckham, right, for his look, right. For me, I think it's okay. Right? I like Ryan Giggs more than Beckham, right? But I think the life story of Beckham is actually very very inspiring in a way, right? I mean, I'm not saying that he did all the right thing, right? But I feel like his mentality, I think it's worth
Oh, it's very
learning.
positive. Yeah.
It's very positive, right? And I think how he climbs back from his World Cup, I would say, scandal, right, or a silly retaliation, right? I think that part is actually very, very interesting to watch, right? And how he went through all the ups and downs, and especially about how he loves his family and stuff. I think all these things are actually way better than I imagined, right? Actually, my wife asked me to watch that show, right? Yeah, and for me, at first it's like, man, I think there are better show on Netflix and stuff like that, right? But I feel like, oh, this is actually a pretty good one. Yeah, and I think it's a good reminder as anyone who has a big vision, right, and knows what they want to do, right? I think there will always be naysayer, right? And I think there will always be skeptics, right? And when you did something wrong, I think a lot of people will say that, okay, I told you so. And then, I mean, for Beckham, right, when he was like the public enemy of the United Kingdom,
The
right?
whole nation. Yeah.
The whole nation, right? I think for us, sometimes when we did something wrong, right, at Memeland, right, or we become like the public enemy, right, of our community as well, right? I'm not saying that this is like a super bad thing, and honestly, I think most of our community, they are still very supportive, right, regardless of all the silly mistakes that we have, right? But I just feel like that is a good reminder that, right, you have to be mentally strong, right? You have to understand what you want to do, right? You don't get swayed by all these kind of noises, right? I think most of the time it's just noise. And I think when you ask those people who make those noise, like a year later, right, I think they may also regret it, right? But at that moment of heat, they just say whatever they want, right? I think people kind of have a very, very low standard of etiquette online, right? So I think that's the part that we have to remind ourselves. On one hand, we don't be that hater, right? But on the other hand, we also have to learn how to deal with the haters, right? Because those haters, they actually hate you at that moment, right? But when you meet them in person, they are like a good guy, right? I think most of the time is kind of like that, right? So I believe that that's something that we can learn from as well, right? And again, I think we have holders. Where holders are more than mentally strong. Yeah, definitely, right? I think for our holders, I feel like Memeland is one of the very international Web3 community, right? I mean, we talk about Asia a lot. We talk about how bullish we are about Asia. It's not because we're Asian, right? It's because we understand that it's a fact that Asia is the fastest growing area and region, right, in almost everything, right, including crime rates, right? Yeah. So I think that part is why we are focusing on Asia, because when we focus on Asia, we can actually create the biggest value, right? Yeah. And of course, we are based in Asia. That's why we also have the home court advantage, right? But I think some of our holders, they kind of misunderstood what I said in the last GM show when I talk about like US or Europe, right? I think most of the time, to us, if you are a holder, right, it checks the box, right? If you are a very supportive holder, it checks another box, right? I actually don't care where you are, right? But I care about the market, right? I care about the opportunity, because when we focus our effort in the right market, right, it creates the biggest leverage. It creates the biggest value, right? So I think for people who say that, okay, Ray, oh, you shit on Americans, right? No. Right, a lot of my good friends are Americans, right, and I think that's the reason. And honestly, when we do the show, we say in English, right? So basically, we're telling the whole world in their own in the Western world in their language, right? Because we feel like there's a big gap, right, where we can become like the leader in a space, and if we can become the leader in Asia, right, in the Web3 in Asia, basically we can be the leader in the whole Web3, right? It's not because when you look at the fastest growing adoption, right, of crypto or Web3, they're all the Asian countries and stuff like that, right? We are not even talking about the regulations or how unclear the US regulation is, right? And I think a lot of European cities and countries, they're also doing catching up, right? So I think when people try to frame it like, oh, Ray is racist, I mean, I probably am, right? But when I work on Memeland, right, I focus on what are the value that we can create, right? And I think to us, I'm not racist, right? I'm more like holders. I don't know, right? If you are part of our community, right? I
You're
like
only
you.
buying what, yeah.
Yeah,
You're
I mean
only
Web
like
three.
on our holder side.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fun thing about the GM show in Singapore is shit. The first time that I met like 6942, one of our MVP, is like
Yeah.
totally not what I imagined. What he is. I don't know who he is, right? And then when I met Ari, right, another of our MVP, shit, he told me he is from some country, right? I was like, totally, that would be the last
Mind
country that I
blown.
would guess, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think stuff like that. That's the beauty of Web3. I actually don't care whether what races that you are, what gender that you are, right? I think don't let all those fucking woke people. I mean, the modern woke people is not the original woke people, right? The modern woke people, the modern like feminists, right? They want something different from the original woke for original feminists and stuff like that. I would say that Web3 is actually very flat, yeah, very fair in a way, right? And I think that we should keep it that way so that everyone, no matter your gender, no matter your race, right, no matter where you come from, right, you can still shine in Web3. I think that's what we want to do with Memeland, right? That's what we want to achieve, right? And that's why we have a very global community. Yeah, but anyway, I think that part it will get into kind of like sensitive topic and stuff like that, right? But again, the focus is on meme, right? And the focus is on meme farming, right? So let's stick to that, and then let's start to farm, and then stay tuned on our Discord, stay tuned on our Twitter. Yep.
Yep. Thank you, Ray. I think like that's like a very good episode about like what's the inside and out like of our marketing campaign. So we trying to stay neutral as like a community. We are not racist or we're not biased of any sort of kind. We're only standing behind our holders, that's for sure, on our holder
No,
side.
I mean we are racist, right? We are biased to much human race, right? We are not building for the dogs or cats yet, right? Yeah, but I think that may we will leave that to Paxlang, right? But I think for Memeland, right? I think we are racist, right? Because we focus on the human race, right? And I think to us, everyone is the same, right? I think as long as you are our holders, right, and you support our community, right, you create value for our communities. We like you already, right? And I think that's the whole part. I think we should focus on the eye on the big goal, right? I forgot what's the eye on the shit.
Eye on the prize.
Eye on the price, right? I think that's the reason why we build Memeland, right? Don't get distracted by all the noises, right? I think I share one of my experience before was okay, when we first reviewed the captains, right? And then there was some Twitter spaces talking about, hey, how come Kongs is brown? You're fucking racist, right? Yeah, I mean, fuck. I mean, have you ever looked at most of the monkeys and King Kongs and stuff like that? They're all kind of dark skin and stuff like that. I think the space sometimes some people they are like just so let's not call them stupid, right? But I think they are just not my cup of tea, right? Some people are kind of like that. I think we should just focus on what we want to build, right? It's not us against the world, but more like, okay, can we do something more meaningful, right? Instead of wasting our time on some noises and stuff like that, right? I think these days I'm not super active on Discord because I only have like 24 hours, right? Other than a family, other than work, right? I don't hang out on Discord that much, right? But I feel like the things that we are launching, I think our holders should be happy. Yeah, and I think after launching Meme, it's not the end of Memeland, right? It's actually the start of a new phase of Memeland, right? And I feel like that's where Memeland starts to shine even brighter, right? Because I think again, NFT is good for building community, but it's quite small, right? So when we have a fungible token, right, even it doesn't do anything, right, it can still be a way for us to expand and extend our community. I'm really, really looking forward to the launch, and I think I'm really looking forward to seeing everyone in Hong Kong. Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Ray. I think this is great. I think people are really appreciate like our communication. And yeah, like we're counting down to the Hong Kong event. So let me know if you are trying to sign up. Like I'm basically the sign up main person here. So if you have any question, just let me know, DM me. Okay. Thanks, Ray. This is a great episode. Okay, so before we go, I still need to invite our chairman on the show because I haven't played this in the beginning.
What is discussed on the GM show is not investment advice. We may or may not have ownership interests in the projects we are talking about, but this is not investment advice in any way, shape or form. And this is not Sir David Attenborough.
Yep, we're ending the show today. Really happy about like having all these people in. It's been a while since we have like over 400 people on the Spaces. Really great to have you all. So I will see you next week.